Welcome to the Sparklink Podcast, where you will meet young minds making a large impact one idea at a time. This is Ashna Reddy, your host. According to a 2017 USA Today article, motorists spend an average of 17 hours and about $97 per year searching for places to park. Parking.net reported that 30% of traffic congestion is the result of drivers searching for a parking spot, and that of the total CO2 emissions, 30% are caused due to traffic congestion because of parking searches by people. If smart parking facilities come into play, on average 15 to 20% of these carbon emissions are estimated to be brought down. So the problem here is clear: finding parking. Mathew Magno was an undergraduate student at UC Davis when he came across this issue. He, along with a couple of his classmates, started Japa Inc., featured on Comstock's magazine as the startup of the month, winners of the UC Davis Big Bang Business Competition and King's Capitalized Competition for the new Government and Civic category. Japa is a leading smart parking company delivering smart data and advanced analytics to solve parking issues for customers, while making corporate campuses and cities more efficient, ultimately enhancing the smart campus or smart city initiatives. Their vision is quite simple: to park smart and stress less. So to get a better understanding of Japa, I went ahead and asked Mathew what particular experience made him think about creating a solution to this problem of parking.
There was a new class starting. It was called Intro to Entrepreneurship. First time ever at UC Davis, and I took a shot in the dark and took it. I wasn't really an entrepreneur growing up, other than I used to sell Slim Jims in middle school and buy and sell laptops in high school. But this is my first really dive into the entrepreneurship community. But our first homework assignment was to think of a problem that we wanted to solve. And the group that I had, it was a group of 6 individuals, and essentially they were the original co-founders for Japa. And so when we were thinking, we're like, what's a problem that we really, really want to solve that's a big enough problem that affects everybody? And we thought about parking. Parking on a university, on campus, is horrible. We noticed sometimes we'd be late for class or end up missing a class because it would take us 20 to 30 minutes to find a parking space. We had 2 engineers, mechanical engineers, and then 4 computer science majors. So we're like, well, let's make an app, hence the name Just a Parking App.
So Mathew and his classmates essentially started Japa in their entrepreneurship class, and here's the idea they came up with in class to solve the issue of finding parking.
Let's create a bird's eye view of every parking lot that lights up red or green on every space, so we can figure out which spaces are available, which ones are taken, and we can just drive to the available space.
What Mathew just described is just one part of what Japa does. And Japa being a finalist for the 2018 Sacramento Region Innovation Awards, I wanted to know what other innovative facets Japa currently has.
I mean, hence our name, Just a Parking App. We were building solely just a parking app in the beginning. But after talking to customers and potential clients, we found out that data analytics and big data these days is huge. You know, companies would pay immense amount of money for that. And what we were doing with the mobile app, I mean, we put sensors on every space, so we know when a car gets there, for how long, where it's at, when it leaves. So we decided to make a management platform for the parking lot owners or management, so they can have a better view or keep a better eye out on their whole operation. And now the management platform, we collect analytics like average stay time of vehicles, max stay time. We track violations. Now they won't have to go around chalking tires looking for overstayed vehicles. We tell them right on a map on their desktop, when and where violations happen. It's bad for the drivers, but at the same time, for the drivers, we let them know, hey, you have 10 minutes left for your parking. Go move your car, or put more time through our app.
Currently installed and working in areas at UC Berkeley, in Walnut Creek, Sacramento, and UC Santa Barbara, I went ahead and asked Mathew what the science behind Japa's technology is.
So the way Japa works is we place sensors on every parking space. Our sensors detect, it's a magnetic sensor and a light sensor. So we're able to get 99.5% accuracy with that. And each of our sensors have up to a 10-year battery life. So whenever a car parks on it, it sends a radio frequency signal to our antenna, which is connected to a base station. And that base station can read up to 20,000 sensors within a 7-mile radius. And once that hits the base station, all that data gets sent to our servers at Japa. And then we aggregate that data onto the management platform, and the mobile app. So the mobile app gives real-time availability for drivers looking for parking, and you can actually get directions to the open space, and we're about to release the payment for parking soon. And then for the management, then they can, have a bird's eye view of their whole operation and use the analytics to really make the process of parking better for their consumers, which is their drivers.
Since Japa relies on these sensors to give real-time data, I went ahead and asked Mathew how the sensors are designed in a way that's durable and effective.
They're visible. You can kind of think of it as like a hockey puck. In the industry, they call them pucks. So they're very, very small, circular. They go right in the middle of the parking space. And so when a car goes over it, drives over it, it's blocking enough light, and it detects a certain amount of metal for the threshold. They're indestructible. They're all pinpoint tested, pressure tested, weather tested. It could take up to a double-decker bus without breaking.
Now, clearly, Japa's tech is sturdy and reliable. And because of that, Japa's real-time data and analytics, such as how long someone has parked, where they've parked, how many violations, and much more, has drawn other companies to look into partnering with them.
With the management platform and all this analytics, we got attraction from bigger companies like Siemens that we partnered with, because now we can connect our data and analytics to build different building technologies, which is within the smart city initiatives going on right now. And now our parking sensors can talk to the building technologies to let them know, hey, this area of the parking lot's empty. We can go ahead and shut off the lights here. Or people are starting to park in this area, so let's go ahead and turn on the air conditioning for the building.
Just as Mathew mentioned, Japa Inc. has landed a contract with Siemens Building Technologies for Japa's product to be offered as part of the Siemens Connect ecosystem for controlling building systems. To add to that, Japa has partnered with UC Davis, UC Berkeley, SMUD, N-Wave, and PaySafe. In this way, Japa is helping companies like Siemens, universities, and organizations save money and at the same time conserve energy. Now, while I was talking to Mathew, I knew that there had to be other parking apps doing very similar things. But to understand the specific unique angle Japa is taking, I went ahead and asked Mathew what Japa's differentiating factor is.
Yeah, there's definitely other parking apps out there, like Spot Hero or Park Hub, but they're not quite doing exactly what we're doing. So those other parking apps, they deal with reserving parking spaces within private owned lots, which require a person to be there to make sure that if that car parks there, then it's the right car that's reserved it. We at Japa are dealing with more of the public spaces where it's free to park. And we want to really give visibility to those people anywhere, whether it's airports, hospitals, municipalities, or campuses. No one's really touching those areas yet, especially the university area. So we're here to really try to dominate that market. And another thing that we differentiate ourselves with is that we not only take care of the driver's parking, but the people managing the parking. A lot of the parking apps now are solely for the people looking for parking, the drivers, or there's other parking companies that just deal with the management.
For Japa to come together and have the amount of success it already has, Mathew needed more than just himself.
We really found out we had a pretty good idea, and we took it outside the classroom. We joined an accelerator program on campus called the Entrepreneurship Fund, which really gave us accountability on working on it every day. The first thing we needed to do was really figure out what's our roles within the company. So I took on the role of being CEO since I had managing experience in the past, and we had a CTO right away, which was the most experienced coder in the group, and we took off. We started working pretty much every day, but we had group meetings twice a week where every Wednesday we'd meet for 2 hours, and every Saturday we would meet at the Student Startup Center at UC Davis and work 10 to 12 hours every Saturday. Essentially what we needed in the beginning was a good team, a lot of grit and determination, and a good idea. That's, I see, for any company to start, and that's what you need. The professor for the entrepreneurship class, Elizabeth Tang, she was our biggest supporter in the beginning and kind of like our advisor right from the beginning of the gates. We didn't have any funding other than a small amount of funding from the class, which was $300 from VentureWell, but we quickly partnered with the transportation and parking services at UC Davis, which I pitched our idea to them. and they gave us around $1,000 to really help build our prototypes. Our prototypes were building the mobile app and building sensors to identify if a vehicle was on the space or not.
By using the help of organizations and advisors on the UC Davis campus and creating a discipline in which all the team members worked, Mathew and his team were able to start Japa. But as with anything one pursues, there are challenges along the way, and Mathew shared some of the ones he faced.
Building a company as a student, trying to balance school, homework, and putting time into the business. I always say that this is a perfect time to build a business while you're a student because you have less priorities. You don't have to worry about a family to feed or anything like that. So, you could really just put your heart and soul into it. And I would say the next biggest challenge was getting feedback from people saying that our team was too big, that startups starting out at 6 people is kind of ridiculous. So we had to let go of a couple of founders, which was really, really hard.
To add to everything Japa currently does, there are some interesting things they are working on to add for the future.
Yeah, so in development right now, our product is ready. We already we're profitable. We have a couple clients, some big names like UC Berkeley, SMUD in Sacramento, the city of Walnut Creek, and we actually just got UC Santa Barbara on board, which we'll be installing on Tuesday. So the product's there, but we're always iterating through the product, making it better, finding out what problems we can solve for our customers and what we can change to our system to make it better. Where I see it going next is definitely more towards autonomous vehicles. Those cars need to stop somewhere. And with our smart technology, we can actually integrate with automakers to allow those cars to park wherever we have a Japa system without having to do anything, essentially. Yeah, we're also working on this new device, which we call the Fast Track for parking. It's like a little square device, kind of similar to the tile device you leave in your car. And paying for parking has never been easier. All you have to do is drive, park, and then walk out of your car. There's no need to go to kiosks anymore, type in your license plate number. It's just, you literally just park and leave.
All of what Japa is working on is essentially called smart parking, which is part of the Smart Cities initiative. Smart Cities is a relatively new idea and initiative, and what it means is basically using technology to collect data in order to run cities more efficiently. And why it's important is that it's proposed to create a better livelihood for people living and working within the city. Part of this is what Japa is working on, smart parking. Mathew shares his vision for what he hopes Japa, which has raised $110,000 in its pre-seed round and is currently raising $1 million in seed round, will contribute to the Smart City initiative and the world as a result.
I would love just to be in every city. I know that our product is pretty amazing, very, very innovative, and I know it can save a lot of people time and frustration and stress. And the bigger one is, our global footprint, making sure that we do lower the emissions of running vehicles that are searching for parking because we can get them to park instantly.
Now that you've heard about Japa's benefit, here is Mathew's advice for someone who wants to start a startup or fulfill their idea.
Don't be scared. Step out of your comfort zone and really try something new. A lot of people are very, very scared to fail at things, and failures are something that are so amazing because you not only learn what not to do in the future, but you learn a lot about yourself and how to really better yourself. So yeah, don't be afraid, ask a lot of questions, and just go out there, be passionate about what you're doing. Because if you're passionate about building a company, it's not work, it's actually fun and play every day.
Mathew puts it simply, parking shouldn't be hard, stressful, and cause as much harm to the environment. And when I asked Mathew if there was anything else he would like to say, he said to tell everyone to
Japa like it's hot.
So yeah, guys, Japa like it's hot and get on this train. Mathew is looking to hire talented software and business developers. If you would like to apply, you can contact Japa through email at contact@japa.one, by phone number at 1-877-PRK-JAPA, or 877-775-5272, or reach out through their angel list at angel.co. All of this information will be put in the episode description. Japa was recently named Best Tech Startup in Woodland by Tech Tribune and is currently fundraising for $1 million seed round. Thank you for supporting this podcast, and please subscribe so you don't miss a new episode every Wednesday. You can also follow this podcast for regular updates on Twitter and Instagram at Sparklink Pod, all lowercase.